Hello, you guys. Welcome back to As Told by Kenya. In today's video, we are going to discuss propaganda I will not be falling for. I love this trend because it's a trend where we just get to talk shit, stuff that everybody likes or is telling us to like. We are allowed to say the buck stops here. We're not doing this anymore. But first, can we discuss my new chair? Can we discuss my new chair? This is my new favorite thing in the world. I have a new chair for me to come and read in, to talk to you guys in, and to just hang out in. I got my laptop right here. I am talking about the Flexi Spot Lotus recliner. I love this thing. I have been wanting a recliner so bad. And when Flexi Spot sent me this, it was my time. This recliner is so big. It has a 20.9-inch seat, a 9.8 with armrest. This recliner provides ample space, various seating positions. You can twirl around in it. You can recline it. You can sit back. You can use it like a rocking chair. It just goes back and forth. It feels so good. The Flexi Spot Lotus recliner has a flexible swivel, a rocking mechanism, offers ultimate comfort, helping you release stress and just be relaxed. The thing I love about this chair the most is the reclining. I have just wanted a recliner for so long. Do you see how I just dropped there? I have just wanted a recliner for so long. A place where I can relax, kick my feet up, and this chair is perfect. You can take a nap in this. It just so much relaxation. I absolutely love the color of this chair. I got mine in a beige color. It just fits everything. It's not too loud, but it's also not enough to where it's just like stark and just like almost like medicinal. It's just perfect. It blends in and it just seems so warm and cozy and inviting. I absolutely love it. Another really cool thing about this chair is the storage on it. So you guys know I read a lot of books, and sometimes I don't like my book to be out. A lot of my books get damaged because they just sit on like surfaces and I kick them around. The good thing about this chair has storage, and I can literally just put my book in the side of this chair and then just close it up, and then when I'm ready to read again, I just open it up and take my book out and it's right there. It's my second favorite thing about this chair. So enough about me. If you want to go get this chair, you can hit the link down below. The chair comes in various colors. They have additional features just to your liking. Just go over there and check it out. Click the link below and don't miss out. Use my exclusive code LOTUS30, that is LOTUS 30 in capital, and you get $30 off plus free shipping on this chair. This chair was so easy to put together. I literally did it at night and it was just like that. If you would like this chair, head over to the link and go check it out. I am enjoying it. It is so comfortable. I am big on being comfortable because I be having back issues. It is so good for that. Flexi Spot, thank you so much for providing me with this chair and for sponsoring today's video. And let's get on into the video. Hello, I am back. Are y'all ready to talk some shit? So when I decided to make this video, I was just like, okay, Kenya, do you want to hurt feelings or do you want to, just tread a little lightly? And I decided to do a little mixture of both. A little mixture of both when doing this. And if this is stuff that you enjoy, if this is stuff that you believe in, that's the whole point of the video. The whole point of the video is that I'm not falling for the propaganda, but many of you guys have. Now, I am going to start off with natural hair. I am a part of the natural hair community because I wear my natural hair. And so there are a lot of things as a natural hair girl people try to shove down your throat, or people try to tell you you should be doing, shouldn't be doing. And I'm not falling for the propaganda. I'm simply not. This first one, I decided to come out just swinging, guns blazing, protective styles. Yeah. I think in the Black community, we have overused the term protective style, and I am no longer falling for the protective style propaganda. Now, you have to stay with me because whenever you make this point, People like to act like you said things that you did not say. I have no issue with people wearing braids. I wear braids. I love braids. I think I look fab in braids. I have no problem with people wearing weaves. I've never worn a weave, but I think many of you look fab in your weaves. Quick weaves, sew-ins, you look great. Wigs. I indulge in a wig. It's been years, but sure, I'll wear a wig. I'm thinking about putting a wig on my head for the Cowboy Carter tour. No issue with wigs. I have no issue with all the things that fall under the protective style umbrella. Nothing wrong with it. Do what you want to do with your hair. I do not think what other people do with their hair is any of your goddamn business. My issue is I don't think protective styles are all that protective. I think most protective styles mess your hair up more than they help your hair. This is my rule of thumb. If you do not like your hair before you put it in the protective style, more likely than not, you are going to hate your hair when it is out of it. That is because a lot of protective styles, and I put protective in quotations, actually cause your hair harm. Number one, braids. Braids are great. I think everyone looks fab in their braids. But this idea that braids are just like healthy for your hair, number one, you're putting like fake hair into your hair, and that's like the texture that it's putting on your hair. What that constantly touching your hair is drying out your hair, and it's making your hair brittle. That fake hair being in contact with your hair. That's why when a lot of people take out their braids, their hair is longer because hair only grows. Hair only grows unless you have a condition. So your hair is obviously going to be longer. But the problem is, what is the health of the hair after it's long? Is it brittle? Is it breaking? Are there split ends? That's what you will get. Number two, tension. A lot of people aren't paying attention to their scalp. And so there's a lot of tension on your scalp, and I just don't think it's all that good. A lot of the synthetic hair is dirty. It's dirty, and that is on your hair for long periods of time. Then it be snatching out people's edges. People don't take the braids out properly. There's just a lot going on there. Then when you get into other protective styles, when you start talking about glue, once again, if you're doing a sew-in, when you're talking about putting the tension from the needle, there's just a lot that goes into it. And your hair, I don't think, can really sustain all of that constantly on your head all the time. So I say this to say this. I'm not falling for the propaganda of protective styles. I think if you want your hair to flourish and it hasn't been flourishing, I am not talking about the people who genetically just naturally have long hair and their hair just always grows. It doesn't matter what they do to their hair. I'm talking about people who don't like the way their hair look. I think if you just wore your hair out, you would have more results in how you want your hair to look. But I don't think protective styles are actually protecting your hair from actually anything. But that's just my opinion. It's propaganda I'm not falling for. Number two, propaganda when it comes to natural hair. Propaganda that you guys shouldn't wash your hair. It is so interesting to me that every single day you guys play in the hygiene Olympics. You guys talk about how much you guys shower. You guys talk about how good you guys smell. You guys talk about washing your chicken. Some of you wash your groceries. You're mopping every single day. You're cleaning your sheets every week. You're doing all of this stuff to prove you are the winner of the hygiene Olympics. But then when I ask you, when is the last time you washed your hair? You look at me like I have started to grow two heads. And I don't get it. I don't understand how you people can be so big on hygiene in one area, but when it come to y'all hair, y'all don't wash y'all hair every week. I think it is crazy that shampoo only touches your hair once a month. I do not believe dirty hair grows. I do not believe using shampoo just inherently strips your hair. You just don't know how to wash your hair, and that's a bigger issue. I think you should wash your hair every week. I think you should wash your hair every week for the same reason that you constantly are telling other people why they need to wash everything else. I think it's crazy that you understand that you should wash your body because you sweat, because you work out, because you go outside, your body is constantly touching stuff. You understand why that is important, but you don't understand that your scalp is also a part of your body and it needs to be washed. Do you know how much you sweat just by existing? Just by going to sleep, how much you sweat? Just by walking around. And then a lot of you guys are gym heads, so you sweat like crazy and you don't think you need to get that dirt off your scalp. Not to even think about the fact that it rains outside, that rain hits your scalp. Not to think about the fact fact that every single day your hair is just brushing up against a bunch of dirty stuff. You don't think you need to wash that out. And don't get me started, because this is another thing I'm not falling for. Hair oils. I am not talking about serums. Beyonce has the sacred edge drops, and the number one ingredient in those edge drops is water. I am not talking about serums. I am talking about oils. Y'all put oils in y'all hair, grease in y'all hair, all propaganda. That's nonsense. But y'all do all of that, and y'all don't think y'all should wash that shit out. But I'm going to stop with the natural hair propaganda stuff, because it get real mean and nasty in the comments. Like, I already pissed y'all off saying protective styles really ain't doing nothing for your hair. Your hair will grow regardless. That's another thing. A lot of people don't have faith in their own hair. Your hair will grow regardless. Your hair, whether it's in braids, whether it's not in braids, your hair will grow regardless, right? Because that's all hair usually does for most people. It's the idea of what that hair is looking like with the health. What is the health of that hair? And I don't think protective styles are doing anything for the health of you guys' hair, because I think when people have those styles in, they're not doing the proper maintenance to those styles that need to be done for those protective styles to do anything for you. So I think it's hurting more than it's helping. But I'm gonna move on, because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, and I think you should do whatever you want. And if you don't want to wash your hair, don't make Kenya like I think you should. But if you don't want to, don't shoot me. Don't shoot me, okay? Do what you want to do, okay? I swear. The next propaganda I'm not going to fall for, and this is going to be random. This is the "I rather be kind than be nice" propaganda. So I feel like a few years ago, this quote went around where people's like, "I'm not nice, I'm kind." And like everyone would be like, "Yeah, that's me. I'm kind. I'm not nice." And it's usually the worst person you ever met saying that statement. Literally the rudest, mean, nasty, funky bitch you ever met is the one telling you that they are kind and they are not nice. And I'm not falling for that propaganda, because I think you guys should be nice too. I think you guys should be nice too. In my opinion, the difference is just knowing someone. When you actively know someone, you're kind to someone because you understand what that person needs. You understand what that person wants, their desires, how you should talk to them. And that's where being kind would come into question. But when it comes to like people you don't know, I think you should be nice to them. I think you should be nice to people you don't know. I think pleasantries matter. I think putting up the appearance that you walk through this world as a nice person is good. I think being nice to people is good. This is Kenya making a statement for nice. I think people should be more nice. I think if more people walked around being nice to people and stopped being like, "I'm just being kind," like you're rude. The kind girls seem to be so fucking rude. Like, I think you should be nice to people. I think if it does not do anything to you to be nice to someone, I think that you should. I think if someone wants to get in front of you in the traffic, I think you should let them, because you know what? If you do this for someone, they might do it for you too. If you have more groceries than someone in the checkout line, maybe you should let the person with 3 things go in front of you just to be nice. Just to be nice. Maybe you should say, "Hey, good morning" to people. Maybe you're not in the mood. Maybe you are not in the mood. Maybe you should just be nice. Maybe you should just help people out every now and then. Like, what's wrong with that? I just think trying to be like, "I'm kind, not nice," it sounds like somebody hurt you. It sounds like somebody hurt you, or you are like a recovering people pleaser. And so you're trying to get in front of like people just thinking you're a pushover or a doormat. So you're like, "I'm not going to be nice to people. I'm going to just be kind to people." And it's just like, who hurt you? Like, who did anything to you? I think it's okay to be nice to people. Everybody is walking around like they are a no-limit soldier, like they are a rough rider, and like they don't take shit from people. Like, let's just be nice. What's the harm in being nice to people? So I'm all for just being nice to people, okay? I think you should be nice to people and you should be kind to people, because in this world, we just need more nice people. So that's the propaganda I'm not falling for. The kind, not nice. I think you guys should be both. I think you guys should be both at all times, okay? Sue me. Another thing that I am not falling for is this idea that Caitlyn Clark has haters. So everything happened with Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark when they played each other for the first game of the WNBA season for 2025. I told you guys I am not going to be a part of any Caitlyn Clark, Angel Reese discourse, because at this point I find it all to be nonsense. But something that came from that is there are constantly people who are telling people to stop hating on Caitlyn Clark. And I am kept looking around being like, where are these Caitlyn Clark haters? For some reason, people believe if you defend Angel Reese, you are all of a sudden some mean, nasty Caitlyn Clark hater. I'm like, Caitlyn Clark does not get hate. Where is this hate coming from? This has been made up. This has been made up, and we are all being gaslit. I'm not falling for the propaganda. Every time there seems to be some issue where, you know, Caitlyn Clark versus Angel Reese, whatever, that nonsense, people are just like, y'all just hate Caitlyn Clark just because. And I'm just like, where the hell is this coming? Where the hell is it? As someone who puts 2 feet in the WNBA season and gets into what people are saying, none of this stuff happens. You do have people who just decide to completely ignore Caitlyn Clark because everything that comes with it, with her fans, with the microaggressions, with the misogynoir, people who are just like, I want nothing to do with it. But at the very root of it, it's just people talking just to talk. Like, even at its worst, it's just people being like, I'm ignoring Caitlyn Clark. I'm not doing this with y'all. But this idea that people are just being like, boo, Caitlyn Clark, it's not happening. And I refuse to fall for the propaganda. And then, even if I did say Caitlyn Clark has haters, what happened to the sport that I love? In what world do you get to play a professional sport and not have senseless haters? That's another reason why I'm not falling for this propaganda. This idea that we live in a world where Caitlyn Clark is the only person who doesn't get to have senseless haters. Like, you can look, Angel Reese has a bunch of them, right? Right, and y'all say nothing about that. But like, look across all sports. Look across all sports. Everybody has senseless haters. I see you niggas every day hating on people senselessly because you just don't like them. That's always been sports. Like, when you think about the Patrick Mahomes hate train, beyond his wife being a Trumper, which probably makes him one, beyond that, like, we hated Mahomes before we knew his wife was a Trumper. We hated him before, like, because we senselessly hate, we don't like the man. We do not like the man. Before then, Tom Brady had haters. I was a senseless Peyton Manning hater. I never liked Peyton Manning. Brett Favre, I never liked Brett Favre before I knew he was a thief. Like, there's just people I've never liked. Aaron Rodgers, never liked them. Like, and then senseless haters. Before I knew there was a reason to dislike all of those people, I just disliked them. But everyone in every single sports has y'all do it to Jason Tatum. Y'all do it to Jason Tatum so bad, but nobody comes to his defense. So obviously I'm gonna sit here and just be like, y'all just want to defend that white woman. So I'm not falling for the propaganda that Caitlyn Clark has real haters, people who really want something horrible to happen to Caitlyn Clark. Knock it off. I'm not doing it. Okay? The next propaganda I am not falling for is Snapchat. I do not know where the Snapchat resurgence came from, but I'm simply not going to fall for it. What the hell do I look like using Snapchat? Number one, I think Snapchat became big when I was in maybe my freshman year of high school. I am so far removed from high school. So the fact that I would still be using an app that like came into, you know, renown when I was in high school can do a little bit like going backwards. Now I'm not stupid. I understand that there are people who make money off of Snapchat. The girls, they make money off of Snapchat. Like, I don't know what the, you know, monetization, it must be good. It must be good because a bunch of people are over there. And I understand that. I mean, casually using Snapchat. Like, ooh, let me send a snap to my friend. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And the thing is, I get the kids. I am never going to shit on what the kids are doing because that's none of my business. I get the kids doing it. I don't get people who should be working a good old-fashioned job doing it. I don't get what you gaining from being on Snapchat. If you over the age of 24 and you on Snapchat, I'm looking at you funny. I'm looking at you. We all have hills to die on, and I'm dying on the hill that y'all need to get off Snapchat. Y'all need to get off Snapchat, and y'all need to go get jobs. I don't get it. I don't get what the thrill of Snapchat would be. I don't know, but like, maybe I'm standing on it. I don't get it. I simply do not get it. Another social media thing that I am not falling for, propaganda that boomerangs are just for old people. So y'all know, you on Instagram, you can make like a boomerang where you go like, and then it plays back and it's like, I'm not falling for y'all saying it's corny and cheesy and it's for millennials. I love a good boomerang. You are going to have to pick boomerangs out of my cold, dead hands. I love a boomerang. I love looking at a boomerang. I love making a boomerang. Boomerangs are here to stay. I don't care what none of y'all got to say. I love boomerangs. More propaganda I never fell for. Stanley cups. I never fell for the propaganda of Stanley cups. And the reason why I'm not falling for the propaganda of Stanley cups is I don't think y'all water need to be cold down that long. I don't think this is about senseless propaganda you not falling for. I don't think y'all water needs to be cold that long. Everybody's a water drinker. We drink water. Oh my gosh, I drink water breakfast, lunch, dinner. So why do you have water that needs to sit for so long that it needs to be cold this long? Why do you need your water to be cold for 48 hours? Y'all are putting the water in, y'all are putting ice in the water, and then Stanley is making it so that water never goes warm. How long is the water sitting in the goddamn cup? I don't get it. Like, when people try to explain to me why I should want a Stanley Cup, why I should get a Stanley Cup, it never makes sense for my life. It never makes sense. I'm just like, why do I need my water to sit here for 24 hours? Ain't the whole point for me to drink the water? Like, how long is y'all water sitting in the cup? The only way I can make it make sense is like, if you sit it by the bed at night and when you wake up in a cold sweat at 4 a.m., you need something to drink real quick and your water that you put in there at 9 o'clock is still cold. That's the only reason. But like, a regular cup can do, a regular little cup that you can get for $10 can do the same damn thing. I don't understand Stanley cups. I think they're expensive for what they're worth. I think it's crazy when people have like 10 Stanley cups. I don't know. Something about that is just like pseudo rich. Like, it feels good to have stuff. And so Stanley cups are expensive enough to where they're kind of a class marker, but not actually that expensive. So like, you're able to have a lot of them and be like, ooh, look at me. But it's just nonsense. It's just consumerism and nonsense. I'm not falling for the Stanley Cup propaganda. I don't see the point of them. You can get a knockoff one for half the price. Yeah, I'm on team knockoff. I'm on team knockoff for half the price. More propaganda I'm not falling for and never fell for. Y'all seem to be coming around to Cowboy Carter now that Beyonce is on the Cowboy Carter tour. Never fell for the propaganda that Cowboy Carter is bad. I never fell for the propaganda that Cowboy Carter is bad. Beyonce is delivering her best vocals to date on that album. I have loved that album since day one. I said that Alligator Tears was one of the best songs that Beyonce has ever made. Some of Beyonce's best work is on that album, and I didn't give a damn what any of you had to say. The other propaganda, real quick, this is where I can whack y'all real quick. Never fell for the propaganda that the Cowboy Carter tickets wasn't selling. We live in this world where like stans are controlling the media. I can make a whole video about how like stans are like a new infrastructure for propaganda, period. And you guys believe it. Because of TikTok, a lot of misinformation is able to fly around very, very quickly in ways that we've never seen before. And a lot of you guys don't question sources of things. And a lot of times the source can be pinned back to a stan account. Like, stans will come up with a narrative and you guys will just run with that narrative, and I expect that from like stupid people. Stupid people online, I don't expect much from. But when I see journalists also do this same thing, create articles and write articles based off stan agendas, I find that to be very, very odd. And so when stans came up with this idea that the Cowboy Carter tour wasn't selling, and then now that the box scores are coming out, everyone is quiet. But if anyone was actually doing any real research and any real journalism, this would have never been a topic of discussion to begin with. Like, there was never any validity to it. There was never any validity to it. And the fact that people ran with it, yeah, people are quite odd and quite stupid. Some more propaganda that I'm not falling for, and this is gonna piss y'all off, milk substitutes. I am a stan of whole milk. I think coffee tastes the best with whole milk, and you can't beat me up for it. I like oat milk. I liked oat milk before other people liked oat milk. Oat milk is fine. What I like about oat milk is how thick it is, because I just think thick milk tastes best in coffee. But what I will not sit up here and say is that oat milk, almond milk, soy milk, whatever the fuck milk tastes better than whole milk. I have had the substitutes and I have had whole milk, and I would choose whole milk any day of the year. Whatever y'all say bad gonna happen to me for drinking whole milk, that's just gonna have to happen to me, because you have not found bliss until you have had a latte with whole milk. Some of you guys haven't had whole milk in a really, really long time, so therefore you probably don't even remember how whole milk tastes. But I promise you, your latte would taste 20 times better if you use whole milk. I'm not falling for the propaganda that whole milk is bad for you. I am a whole milk stan. I'm going to keep putting whole milk in my coffee. I went through an era for about like 2 years where I used to drink like oat milk, and then I realized I'm a free woman and I can do whatever I want, and why the hell am I doing this? Especially because like I'm not vegan. It'd be one thing like if I'm vegan, right? But like I eat cheese, I eat ice cream, like I love me some dairy, I like butter, and so I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I not putting whole milk in my coffee when I'm not lactose intolerant? Like my stomach isn't built like you guys' stomach, weak. Like I can take whole milk, and so one day I decided I'm putting whole milk in my coffee and there's nothing you guys can do about it. And so I'm done with that propaganda. I'm done with the whole milk is bad for you propaganda. I'ma just have to die. I'ma just have to die for my latte. I don't care what none of y'all got to say. I really, really don't. Another thing, since we're talking about drinks, I got two of them. I'm not falling for the matcha propaganda. I'm not falling. My man, he loves himself a good matcha and he can just have it. I'm not falling for the propaganda that matcha is good. Every time I try a matcha, it tastes just as nasty as it was the last time. It's an acquired taste, blah, 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 blah. Coffee is an acquired taste. I think sushi is an acquired taste. Matcha is just nasty. Matcha is just nasty. And I think it's because it looks pretty. I love that green. Something about looking at a matcha, you're just like, ooh, I should be drinking it. But it don't taste good. And I just think you guys put yourself through hell for the aesthetic. Y'all put yourself through hell for the aesthetic, and I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for the matcha propaganda. The next propaganda that I am not falling for is soda substitutes. I am not falling for the propaganda of poppies, all that nonsense. Please give me a Sprite. I want a Sprite, I want a Pepsi, I want a Coke, I even like a Fanta, but I don't want none of that substitute bullshit. I'd rather drink water. I don't want no soda substitute. I find all of that to be pseudoscience nonsense. I'm not falling for the soda substitute propaganda because that shit is nasty. More propaganda for the drinks. Only drink water. The people who think they deserve a cookie, a slap on the back, and a gold star for only drinking water, girl, you depriving yourself of some goodness. The people who be like, I don't drink coffee. I wake up every morning, I drink me some water. Ooh, you drink soda, I drink me some water. Hey, can I get a water? Knock it off. Who cares? Knock it off. Who cares? We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. Maybe you'll die later than me. Maybe you'll die earlier. We don't know. But guess what? I'm gonna have me a Pepsi. I love Pepsi. I don't know why. I love me a Pepsi. I'm going to have me a Pepsi. I'm going to have me a coffee. I'm going to have me a lemon drop. I am going to indulge. That is just the name of the game. As I've gotten older, I've decided I am going to indulge, and y'all can have all that. Y'all can be as strict as y'all want to be, and that's good for you, but I'm not falling for the propaganda. That brings me to my next thing, dieting. I don't believe in dieting. We are in this current social media landscape where everybody is doing like severe dieting and like crash dieting and all of this. You know, everyone is just being like restrictive, and I refuse. I am going the complete opposite way. I don't believe in diets. I have this thing where if you're not going to do something consistently, I don't think there's any point to do something at all. So if you're someone who's just like, I'm gonna cut dairy out of my diet for 2 weeks, for fucking what? You're just gonna be miserable for 2 weeks, and if you're gonna go back to doing it, what's the point? Like, what do you think is really gonna be gained in those 2 weeks? So, but if you're someone who's gonna cut dairy out of your diet forever, then fair enough. You know, you should try. I always believe in giving something a college try. But like, if you know you're not going to keep something up, what the fuck are you doing it for to begin with? So I don't believe in diets. I do not believe in diets because I have no desire to walk through this earth not eating what I want to eat. I don't do it. I rather work out really, really hard. Of course, let's not be stupid. If you go to your doctor and your doctor tells you, put down the goddamn sodas, your doctor tells you to put down the damn fruit roll-ups, put down the red meat, put down the chicken, put down the whole milk, please do it. Please listen to your doctor. Let's not mistake propaganda we're not falling for conspiracy and mess. Conspiracy and mess. I'm not doing it. But I can't do diets. More propaganda I'm not falling for is the idea that you guys kids are dumb because of COVID. So there's this thing where like, because the kids were inside during COVID, that the kids are behind and the kids aren't going to be able to catch up. COVID really set kids back. I'm not falling for that propaganda. I think your kids are dumb because you guys don't read with them. I think your kids are dumb because you guys let your kids sit at home and play video games all day. I think your kids are dumb because instead of, you know, when you go out to eat and you'll see a group of like adults at a table and there's like kids at the table, and the kids are on the AirPods, the kids are on the iPads, the kids are on the phone, and your kids aren't picking up on social cues. You know, when you were little, me and you, when we used to go out to eat with our parents or we used to get our hair done at the hair salon, we were forced to be in grown people business. We were forced to constantly be in conversation with all the things around us, and that made us smarter, that made us more aware, that made us able to talk, that made us able to have conversations. Kids don't do that anymore. Kids have this, they can opt out of all the things that helped us develop and grow. Your kids are developing. And so when they are at dinner, your kids do need to hear adults talk to each other. They do. They do. Your kids need to hear adults talk to one another because they're going to be an adult one day. They're going to see the ways that adults interact, and they're going to have questions about things. They're going to be curious. Your kids aren't curious anymore, and your kids are just always in the phone. That's why your kids are dumb. Your kids are dumb because they always in your phone. Like, you can blame COVID all you want, but that happened. Why aren't your kids catching up? Why are your kids still on the streams? Why are your kids still on the apps? Why are your kids still not catching up? Because you don't read to them. Because you don't make your kids have hobbies outside of things in them phones. You don't actually parent them. That's why I think your kids are dumb. And you can blame COVID all you want, but at some point, you got to step in there. At some point, you got to step in there. Do you guys know, on the flip side of that, this is going to be this might go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole as well. You guys, there is this thing that people say where they're like, your kids need to know how to read the minute they step foot in kindergarten. I didn't know how to read when I stepped foot in kindergarten. And I came out okay. I read perfectly fine now. I have an entire English degree. I didn't know how to read in kindergarten. Is this new thing where kids need to step into kindergarten and know everything? I'm not falling for the propaganda. I am not falling for this propaganda that kids need to step foot in kindergarten and just know 2 + 2 = 4. They need to know how to read a chapter book. No, I'm not allowing it. I remember learning how to read. You want to know why I remember learning how to read? My sister is 5 years older than me, and so I was in kindergarten, and the 5th graders used to come down to the kindergarten class and used to teach us how to read. And my sister one day was my person because she was in 5th grade, I was in kindergarten. It's the only time we ever went to school together. And I have a core memory of me not knowing how to read and my sister teaching me how to read. And I turned out just fine. I think we put too much on the kids. I think before you hit kindergarten, you need to be, that does not mean don't read to your kids. Read to your kids. But this idea that they just need to be fluent, and they just need to know, I don't like it. I think the kids are allowed to step their foot into kindergarten not knowing how to read. Maybe I'm crazy and some teacher's gonna be down here being like, see, you the problem. You the reason why these kids dumb. No, I think that at 5 years old, you can be just fine and be able to be a perfectly good student, not immediately knowing how to read. Am I crazy for believing that? I don't know. The next propaganda I am not going to be falling for is romanticy as a genre, and I don't even want to explain any further. I don't believe in romanticy as a genre, and you can't make me believe in romanticy as a genre. Number 2 propaganda when it comes to books I'm not falling for. There's this idea that I hear a lot of people say, and it's that books are worse now. There is so many video essays and think pieces of people saying that books are worse now. We have worse books now than they had before. And I am here to tell you that is simply not true. I have a real disgust with people who step into spaces and then make these big declarations that are based on nonsense. If you have not read at least 100 books from 2005 and before, I don't want to hear your opinion on what books were like 20 years ago. If you can't tell me 50 books that you read from 2005 to 1995, how do you get to have a say? But the thing that I know you're wrong is that I want you to pull up the New York Times bestsellers from 2004. But just pull it up. And I want you to read 5 books from that list. And you are going to see some of the worst books ever written. You are going to see that these books are some of the worst books ever written. I don't think people remember books pre-2010. There's some slop. Everybody was not Toni Morrison. Everybody was not just writing good books. They just simply were not. There were airport books like we have airport books now. There were shitty romance books like we have now. But more and more so, there wasn't a lot of options. A lot of books were exactly the same. Everybody wasn't Percival Everett. You do get the Percival Everetts with erasures. You do get moments where it's like, whoa, this book is groundbreaking, but those didn't happen a lot. And nowadays, you do get a lot of books that are really, really good. As someone who reads over 200 books a year, it is not hard to find really, really good books. I would actually say if you look up the New York Times bestsellers, most of the books are pretty solid. You cannot say that from 20 years ago. You cannot say that from 20 years ago. And if you go back and read those older books, you are going to realize those books are bad. Those books are bad. Some of them are poorly written. The ones that aren't poorly written just aren't interesting. And that's just what it is. So when people say this, I'm just like, show me a book from 2002 you read. And I think some people are just focusing on like major classics. Like they're going back to the 1800s, the early 1900s and being like, these books were so much better. I mean, you guys, you're only getting such a small sample size. Most books do not stand the test of time. For every Gatsby, Catcher in the Rye, Jane Austen, all of these successful writer, Alice Walker, for all of those, there are hundreds of books that just never stood up to the test of time. You don't know if those books are good unless you're someone who literally goes back and you're an archivist and you go read those books. And so unless you can prove to me that you have gone back in time and read at least 50 books from the exact same time that Jane Austen was writing books, I don't want to hear your opinion. Same thing with any other time. Like, if you haven't read those books, why are you making such a big declaration? It's so funny. I don't even think the people making the declaration now are reading the books that come out now. There are a lot of people who are having conversations about books who are only reading like the books that come up on their TikTok page and then deciding that those are the most popular books in the world and the only books that people are reading, and that's not true. And that's simply not true. Like that is such a small fraction of the books like actually being published. If you go look up the Booker, the Pulitzer, the Women's Prize, the National Book Award, you are going to find such interesting literature on all of those lists, and those are popular books more likely than not. Why aren't you talking about those books? Because that's not fun. It's easier to, I just said romanticy as a genre I don't respect. It's a lot easier to shit on that and to shit on romance instead of actually having a real conversation about like books that are actually being published. I just find a lot of book conversations online to be stupid from people who actually aren't reading books. This is not me saying that people are reading good books, because I don't think that. I say that all the time on my book channel, which is Lily Reed's shameless plug, that people are reading bad books. People are reading bad books. And you see it all of the time. But I just think this conversation that people are just like, the publishing industry is horrible and horrible books are being, no. Especially when you think about like translated fiction. Now more than ever, you can read a book from a language you don't speak. And that's why I can never get on that. You can read books from villages in Africa. You can read books from small towns in Japan. You can read books from places we never were able to read books from before, because now more than ever, the turnaround on translating books is quicker and faster, and the translations are better. So how can you say something like that? We have more access to literature than we've ever had before. So I think if you are reading bad books, it is simply because you are not going out of your way to look for good books. I think it's a skill issue, honestly. Last things with propaganda I'm not going to be falling for. The jeans y'all be wearing. Everybody is walking around in these Michael Jordan ass jeans. I'm not falling for the propaganda. Y'all look stupid, and in 5 years you're going to realize you look stupid. I'm not falling for it. Y'all look a goddamn mess. The next thing I'm not going to fall for is the concealer and nothing else on y'all face look. I do not believe in the no makeup look, in a sense that like you put on a little bit of makeup and some blush. I think y'all look fucking crazy. By the end of the day, y'all be looking a goddamn mess. I'm not falling for it. The next thing I'm not falling for is thin eyebrows. Thin eyebrows are back. Everybody is plucking their eyebrows to be very, very thin. Y'all already did this. Y'all did this before and y'all realize y'all look stupid. So y'all gonna do it again now and realize y'all look stupid. I ain't falling for it. And that's pretty much it. Those are the propaganda that these current moment I am not going to be falling for. I could add a few more things to the list, but I am not going to. Like waking up early, Trader Joe's, stuff like that. I'm not falling for any of that nonsense, but I will see you guys in the next one, okay? Peace.